Late Night Health continues. You know, when you think of money, do you think of health? Well, probably not. But our next guest has certainly thought about that and has said that if you're wealthy, you have a better chance of being healthy. His name is Jaden Sterling, and moving business forward faster. He teaches people to be healthy by being wealthy. Start teaching, Jaden. We're listening with bated breath. Welcome to Late Night Health.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here. Really grateful for being on your show. So thank you very much for that. And, you know, if we look at the word wealth, the English derivative of that word is well. It's spelled W-E-A-L, which is just like it sounds. It's well-being. And whenever you put TH on any word, that means the condition of. So the word wealth becomes the condition of well-being.
Wow.
And, you know, that's a really powerful way to start this program about health and wealth, because we know that when we start to take care of ourselves, we do the things to honor our not only our physical body, but our spiritual body, that we start to attract more opportunities to us. And, you know, Mark, the formula is very simple. It's people plus opportunities equal money. So we need to understand that we actually are the generators of money. We generate money in our life. Just like a power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy. And we're designed very similarly that we generate our own energy. You probably know this in your own life, and many of our listeners can probably relate to this, that when they start to increase their energy and increase their activity and momentum in their business, you know, that momentum starts to build. And as it builds and grows, the money comes to us in a very, comes to us in multiplicity, multiple ways, but also in multiple measure. Because interesting, Mark, what's happening now, and I've even coined it money karma, because I'm starting to see, and you probably are seeing this in your life as well, that the more generous we are, you know, the more giving of ourselves, our information, things like that, the more abundance comes back to us. And it's at this point, Mark, it's a factor of 10 to 1. I'm seeing that
I think in the New Testament it says 7 to 1, if I'm not mistaken. But I like 10 to 1 better. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard that. Our mutual friend who introduced us, Robert Clancy, has said to me that we talked about volunteerism this week. And in volunteering, you're giving of yourself. And when you do that, things come back to you. I call it pay it forward. And is that really what helps bring wealth to somebody?
Well, it's you know, and I love that, pay it forward, and I describe that very thing as the boomerang effect. Like what you put out, you get back. And you know, when we look at our resources that each person has available to them, time is certainly a resource. Money, of course, is a resource. Our connection, you know, the people that we know. I was connected with you through Robert, as you mentioned. And so from here, you know, we look at how do we best deploy our resources, and knowing that when we send those resources out, when we put our time in, and we're of service and contribution, and we're contributing to the betterment of society, the truth is it connects right into the energy of money, because money is aligned with the energy of love, gratitude, and joy.
You said something to me last week that struck me, and you said that if you're wealthy, you don't have to worry about a certain kind of stress. I mean, we all know that everybody has stress in their lives. I mean, a wealthy person can walk into the doctor thinking of Steve Jobs jobs, and he walked in and he said, "You have pancreatic cancer, go home and die." I mean, no amount of money could help in a situation like that. Yet, if you have money, you have more opportunity to explore alternative health, traditional health, whatever you want to do, where somebody who doesn't have those resources are limited in what they can or cannot do. Can you respond to that?
Well, I think more importantly than money, the resources is vision and mindset, frankly. I mean, if we get right down to it, Steve, I read quite a bit about that experience that he went through, and although, yes, he had an unlimited resource called money, he was also able to, like you say, get the finest care, but he also did look at alternative care in terms of curing the cancer, but it was just too far gone. But here's the thing, with any kind of resource or vision, we are always guided to what our perfect path is in terms of our health, our well-being, and we'll know innately what works for us and what doesn't. Now, some say that we choose our exit points in life, so we all have to go somehow.
There's do
benefit, sure, some way. We're not getting out of this alive, Mark. That's for sure. But there's real. My twin brother chose the cancer route as well, but there was such beauty in that process, because guess what? We got to say everything we wanted to say to each other in that 2-year period that he was dealing with the cancer. And so, I've always looked at that as a benefit, because there was nothing left unsaid. We knew, what was coming up. And so many people, though, will leave and they don't come home that night, right? So
right.
There's different things that we can manifest. I'm very clear. I'm going to be 94 years old, sitting in a chair. I had just given a talk that morning. I'm going to take a nap, and then I transition to the other side. So, we can be clear about how we want to transition if you want to, really get to it.
I agree with that. I say 120, and
okay.
And I have some caveats. I want to know who I am. And I want to be able to maneuver without the need of a wheelchair or other, I want to be the pusher, not the pushy, if you will, in a wheelchair. With all the things that happen, fear, life getting in the way of what you want to do, how do you get rid of that fear to let abundance into you?
It's a great question, because fear and abundance live in separate homes. You cannot, and you can only live in one at each moment of the day. So you have to decide, if you're firmly entrenched in the fear camp, you have to know that at that very moment you are doing nothing to help your abundance, because abundance, it just can't even connect in with fear energy. It's on a whole different level, lives in a whole different community. So we need to exit that fear house, and this is what I suggest. Remember back in the day when you were in school and the firemen came in and they said, in case the building's on fire, you can stop, drop, and roll.
Right.
In case
Exactly.
Of an emergency.
Right.
Okay. So money is a physiological symptom. When you desire to attract and manifest more money, it's an all-being sport. It's not just it takes money to make money. That's not the case at all. You can make money clearly and purely by a vision that you have or an idea. I mean, there's a million ways to make $1 million. So,
and you've done that several times over.
I have, for sure. But let me get into giving your listeners a very tactical approach to when fear comes up. So the stop, drop, and roll, what you have to do is you got to stop yourself when the fear comes up. So all you simply do is visualize a stop sign. And what that does, Mark, is it stops the neural pathways in the brain from continuing on the path that they were on. And then it tells your physiology, okay, you stop and then you drop. And what I mean by that is you drop from your head right into your heart. And we have to get out of our head, because the head is what confuses us. It's the part of us that keeps us small. It's where ego lives. And, ego is not allowed access to the heart. It's like Border Patrol is standing guard, you know?
Got it.
And so that's why we need to get out of our head. We drop down our heart, and we also know from the research over at the from the good folks at Heart Math Institute have said to us, look, feelings from the heart have been measured on their equipment, scientific equipment, to extend up to 2 kilometers outside of the body. So then we know, in addition to that, the heart is a 5,000 times magnetically stronger than the brain. So that's why we need to get out of our head. We need to drop down to that place of us that's free from ego, that is the strongest manifesting organ in our body.
You're talking about love.
I'm talking love. Mark, I'm talking love. That's it.
So you live in a perpetual Valentine's Day.
I do. I absolutely do. You're so right about that. And we all can.
And we all can. You're going to teach us how. Jaden Sterling, Moving Business Forward. Jaden has a complimentary home study course available. We'll talk about that. You can visit soultoprofit.com. One of the things that you are known as is an intuitive, which is, I guess, an intuitive wealth manager. You can look at somebody and say, poor, poor, rich, rich.
Not necessarily that. I'm an intuitive wealth coach. And so what I can do is I work with business owners and people who desire to maximize their resources. And what I can do is I look at a person and I can sense and feel what direction they can go in that would be the most profitable for them. Oftentimes business owners have struggle with clarity because there's so many directions they can go in, and so many opportunities to take advantage of, and they're not really sure which ones to pick. So I have the ability to have a lot of clarity around directions for people to go in. Yeah, I've even worked with people on branding, how to message their products and services, and determining and experiencing new verticals for them to bring their products.
Oh, are we going to be talking Jaden? Jaden Sterling, our guest here on Late Night Health. Jaden, when you're talking about, you've made a lot of money over the years. You were, I believe, a millionaire by the time you were 30?
31, yes.
31. I'll take it. And are you giving back? I mean, is that, I've attended a lot of seminars from Tony Robbins to others, and when we come back in just a moment or two, I want to know why you and other success coaches, if you will, are in this arena. I mean, you charge for your time. You probably don't need the extra cash. Maybe you do. I don't know. I want to know that inside part of it. Do you mind talking about that when we come back?
I'd be happy to.
All right. We're going to take some time out. You can visit Jaden at soultoprofit.com. And if you don't get that, you can go to latenighthealth.com. Look under Jaden, and you'll find his link and bio as well. All right. I'm Mark Alyn. We continue here on Late Night Health. Don't go away. Daryl Wayne, the Insane One, and I return.